Junior was the oldest.
Yeah,
And then Harlan.
And
And
now
then,
we're talking about Harlan's daughter that is now a grandmother herself.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Now, Estelle had Junior, Harlan, Charles,
Lois.
huh?
Lois.
Well, I'm talking about the boys.
Well, that was
Well,
the first three was
did
boys.
she have 3 or 4 children before boys?
She had 3 boys.
Okay.
6
And then Dolores.
girls, and then a boy and a girl.
Well, who was Dolores and
Lois,
Jean?
Jean, Faye, Glenda, me, Mary, Jack, and Irene.
Yeah. 11.
Yeah. And I was told she had 2 miscarriages before Junior was born.
I didn't know that. See, I've had 5 miscarriages.
I had your children.
Yeah. And I know Gertrude had 4.
And see, her oldest son was a
Killed
pilot.
he died in World War II.
He was a pilot.
Killed flying
and
over
they
Germany.
didn't find him for years.
Who?
So Gertrude
he
was
was
the oldest of 16. She had 3 girls and a boy. And the boy was a pilot
With
in World War One.
World War II
World War II, and went down in action.
Mm.
in
And
Germany.
They didn't find him for.
Yeah, they did later.
Yeah.
They
years.
found his nameplate.
Yeah. For years.
Now, at that time, I lived in South Carolina
Okay.
because I got a telegram from Gertrude Leonard about James
Yeah.
going down with the plane. And see, William
Now, what was Gertrude's last name?
Goss. And William and Harvey, William was in the Navy.
Yeah.
Jack was in the Marines. Paul was in the Navy.
Yeah. Now, Uncle Jack and Uncle Paul both were injured.
They were both wounded.
They were wounded, seriously wounded.
And Jack survived 11 days on Iwo Jima.
Right. Out on the beach, covered up. They thought he was dead.
Mm.
Yeah. And he,
And some,
And his daughter
some
now.
officer or somebody that was patrolling the beach saw a movement
Jack's
it
daughter
was
is
my
my
laying
caretaker.
out there for 11 days. They thought he was
His
dead.
youngest daughter,
Lynn?
Lynn,
Really?
is
Is
my
he from
caretaker.
Rome?
Is he from Rome?
Did he live in Rome?
Yeah, they're all from Rome.
We were all born in Rome.
Well, they
And
did a
so
special
They
Iwo
brought
Jima.
him back to the States, and when they took him off of the plane, they had a canopy to where nobody could see him.
Yeah.
Well, they did. Jack and
Paul.
Paul had to be retrained to live.
Paul had a metal plate right here and was blind for 21 days.
Yeah.
Mm.
And was wounded on his legs too. But Jack was in the Marines and out in the wilderness and slept in ditches, and they were not out there for months, and they didn't have food coming to them. They had to eat fruits and stuff that they picked off of the trees
In the bushes.
Mm.
and slept in a hammock in a ditch. Because if you slept up in the tree, they might
Get you.
get you. They had rough times. And he was wounded in the butt, Jack was.
And the kid, and he had a plastic bladder or something. They had to
Well,
take out all of that.
he was left to die, on the field, and somebody that was looking after all of them saw a movement of his finger or something, and they rescued him. But he had to stay in, where is that place they sent you when you were injured real bad and had to be brought back to civilization.
Mm.
Rehabilitation.
Huh?
Rehabilitation.
It was a place that they,
Yeah, it was rehabilitation, but it had a name.
yeah.
Like, what is one of the clinics now, famous Mayo Clinic,
Well, up in the, what's that one up in Washington?
Walter Reed?
Walter Reed.
Walter Reed Hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they, see, I lived in South Carolina at that time. And when I went to Rome, when Paul was operated on, they laid his eyeballs out and operated on his brain and his forehead.
Mm.
And he's got a plate, or had a plate up there.
He had a metal plate.
But he was one of the most wonderful brothers I had. He was the youngest, but always a smile and a laugh, and you couldn't be around him no time without enjoying him.
Mm.
He brought so much love, and he lived with me 10.5 years
Before he
before
crossed
he
over.
died.
Mm.
Right down there in that little house where she lives now.
Oh, really?
It's sad,
Yeah.
but he gave of himself so much.
Yeah, he used to, when we lived on East 7th Street, him and Harlan and Charles used to scare us kids to death, playing scratching on the windows and got it all
Scream.
running, getting to bed with Mom and Papa. And they were jokesters.
Did he get awards for that?
Yes, he had, but I couldn't tell you what.
His children would have to tell you.
He
Back
did
home.
get some Purple Hearts and things, and so did Jack. Now Lynn will know more about this. Jack, that's her dad,
Yeah.
and I know Jack was written up in the paper
Yeah.
about his because his children.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it's in the paper somewhere.
Yeah.
But Lynn will have all of that.
Yeah, them would have all that stuff.
But they sacrificed their lives.
Yes.
Sit back down. She goes. This Lanny's right here.
And so every time anybody goes to service, they give up their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope your kids don't ever have to go.
Yeah, me too.